Okay, here we are. We're going to find out about everything here. Yeah, we got Ryan Serrano from Hilda Salih's office. Okay, they're expecting 1,000 people out here. Look at all this. No housing, Royal Vista Golf Course. You can kiss that one goodbye. Now, did you reserve your condo in the development here?
Sorry?
Did you reserve your
Before
condo?
the meeting starts, I have
Yeah.
an announcement.
No, I reserved
In order for us to manage the meeting time, and I'd like to have everyone would like to speak, get a speaker request form from the front desk, fill it out, and got a number, and speak by order. And each speaker limited to 2 minutes. So if you would like to speak, and you may go to the front desk to get a speaker request form, fill it out, and you will have your turn to speak. Thank you.
Okay, and now I'm going to get my card, and it's up for sale for the highest bidder. You want by 2 minutes? We could start at $50. Okay. Yeah, look at that fine that public works there. Okay. All right. Now, where do I sign up for this? Just grab a piece of paper. Oh, this right here.
Yes.
Okay, give me 2 or 3 because I have one for my split personality. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna just go back to chaos. Let chaos prevail, huh? That's the way it is in Washington D.C. inside the Beltway. Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The squares.
Look at all the beautiful people, huh? Aren't they beautiful? Huh? All these good-looking people. Look at them.
Yeah.
They're all good-looking. Not as good-looking as me, but not like you and I. They're not that good-looking, but they're good-looking. Okay. Are you ready for this, folks? They didn't print up enough of those speaking things, and now they're like, where do we go? We got to send them to Washington, D.C., right? Or Sacramento.
Yeah.
Right, we've got to send them to Sacramento. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Can you believe this? Okay, we're going to shut it down here for a minute.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Bruce.
Okay, we're going to be doing a body count later. Right? See how many people we got here.
I have an announcement for the way to speak at the meeting. In order for us to better manage our meeting time, and from now on, we have prepared the speaker request card, and anyone, if you wish to speak, you may come to the front desk, fill out the form, and fill your name and your address, and they briefly state what your concern, and hand it to the staff, and we will get your turn to speak. And we set up a mic in the center of the hallway. Everyone speak at the mic instead of speaking on your seat, because with the mic we may not be able to reach you. And so anyone would like to speak, come to the front desk and get a form, fill it out, and then you get your turn. The speaker limit time is 2 minutes because the meeting hall time is limited, and there's new information. Yeah, I mean, in your past experience, some speakers just repeat and repeat and repeat. Right? That's what we try to avoid. Any other questions? Okay, so we will follow this new rule to speak. Okay, let's move on. And we are community report. And the first speaker is Deputy Claudia Valdello, the Sheriff Department.
Hello everybody, happy Chinese New Year. Okay, so for the month of January, we did decent on our crime stats. The only thing that has not changed is the amount of vehicle burglary. So for the month of January, we had 44. That's more than one a month. I mean, more than one a day for the month of January. In the month of December, we had 64. So that's the popular crime right now, the vehicle break-ins. So like I said in the past meetings, not having property in your vehicle, securing all your things in your trunk if you're going to be out. That's the main thing. Most vehicles that get broken into is because somebody passed by and they saw something inside. The place that's getting hit the most is Colima and Fullerton. So whatever shopping centers or restaurants are on Colima and Fullerton are the main area that vehicles are getting broken into, and unfortunately also at Forest Lawn. Forest Lawn off the 10 freeway has a huge problem with vehicle break-ins while people go and visit their loved ones at their gravesite. So even though you are at a cemetery, please make sure that you are concealing your property or taking it with you. Make sure you are locking your doors, and make sure that you at least have some kind of visual of your car, because that place is really hot right now for whatever reason. As far as all the other crimes we had 13 grand thefts of personal property. We had 7 catalytic converters that were stolen. And we had 19 obs arrests. And like I told you before, obs arrests are arrests that our deputies that are working unincorporated Rolling Heights drive around and they see somebody committing a crime or see somebody out late at night prowling through vehicles or prowling through property, and they stop them and they end up taking them to jail. So that was 19. For this month, all we want people to do is obviously stay safe. I know the Chinese New Year is a popular thing is to give out the red envelopes. So when you are going to the bank, getting money to put in these envelopes, make sure you're putting them away. Make sure that they're not in your vehicle, because everybody knows that the red envelopes hold money. So that's the things that they were going to go after. Any comments, questions, concerns?
Run up here, is that what we do? Speak? Okay, just last month you told about Audubon property. I think it's 1532 where y'all went in there and cleaned out them transients, et cetera, et cetera. And the fence was, well, the fence is back down.
Yes.
And per my contacts in Hialeah, they're back.
Yes, so like I said last time, that is private property.
Yeah.
So in order to get that property clean and done with, I already spoke to the property owner, and that's the person that needs to get the ball rolling on whatever she wants to.
Yeah, but also there's a rumor that Ryan Serrano and Hilda Solis going to have that declared a public nuisance, and we'll get in there and really do some business, clean that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Anybody else? Comments, questions, concerns?
Thank you, Claudia. So next speaker, I'd invite California Highway Patrol Officer 02.
Good evening, everyone. Officer Ray's here. Face of Officer O'Toole is also here to join me. Not much has changed. I know last month I reiterated on highway violences that have been occurring in our area, or freeway shootings. We had another incident last night, so it's still very common. Started with a vehicle flashing high beams at another vehicle. The other vehicle got upset or whatever their feelings were, and shot five rounds at the sedan that's actually at our office right now. Nobody was injured that I know of, at least, but goes back again to just kind of head your way, head home. Don't do any hand gestures. Don't try to get into arguments with other people, so you don't know who you're going to encounter. Just drive safe. In other news too, we have the construction on the 605. If you guys do take that route, not sure if I mentioned the last time. Plan ahead. Plan your routes. Check the on and off ramps because they're constantly changing. Take extra time to get to your destination, and if there is traffic, maybe find an alternate route to get to and from. Our office right now is getting a lot of trainees, so we just received 5 new officers that came in. They're currently out in the field and training with our field training officers. And we're receiving 8 new officers in the next class in March. Our academy is currently holding 3 academy classes in training, which means that we hope to receive a little more help and field officers to help us with, the traffic collisions and assist you guys out in the field. So that's all I have for you guys for this month. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns? I appreciate your guys' time, and I wish everyone a good night.
Thank you. Next community speaker, I'd like to invite Supervisor Hilda Solis' office, Deputy Ryan Serrano.
Thank you, Carrie. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Serrano. I serve as Deputy District Director for Supervisor Hilda Solis. We have a few items tonight. The first is this information regarding our mental health fair taking place in Monterey Park. This is a regional mental health fair for our youth, and this is taking place on the 24th of February from 9:30 to 12:30. Have another event, this one's in the community, the Roland Heights Lunar New Year celebration. Actually, which reminds me, I wanted to thank Carrie for an amazing event we had this past Saturday with the Roland Heights Chinese Association. Some more culturally competent programming here at the parks, except this one is for the entire county. Between February 8th and 24th, Black History Month celebrations going on throughout the county. And then the final item, I think is timely, it is information regarding our Green Line Home program. The second page is actually a frequently asked questions. You guys get the, you guys hold the note right over there. If you guys have any questions, it's a really great program. First-time home ownership, please check it out. And with that, I'll go ahead and take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. So next speaker, I'd like to invite Public Health, Los Angeles County Public Health, Crystal. Is she here? She's not here. Then let's move to the next. Congresswoman Lisa Sanchez's office, the representative. Is there anyone from Lisa Sanchez's office? And next is Senator Bob Archuleta's office, Mr. Miller, Kyle Miller, and he just had a scheduled conflict, and he has to go to the La Habra Heights City Council tonight, so he's absent. Josh Newman's office, Christina Samet. Okay, next, the Lisa Calderon's office, the representative is not, had to share with me, and she has a scheduled conflict also. So next, the Aurora Unified School District, Dr. Kevin Hayakawa.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Good evening, everyone. We have 3 announcements for you all tonight. Number 1, Nogales High School invites our community to attend the Nogales High School Brothers and Sisters in Unity, or BSU, Black Culture Celebration on Friday, February 16th at 6:30 p.m. in the Manor. This event will include community commitment awards and keynote speakers, along with performances by the Nogales High School Jazz Band, Choir, and Black Kings Music Ensemble. In addition, there will be a Light Up the Runway fashion show, poetry, and food by Rainey's Authentic Soul Food Truck. Number 2, enrollment for the upcoming 2024 through 2025 school year is now taking place at all Roland Unified School District schools. Roland Unified has award-winning schools and innovative programs for families to choose from, such as the Spanish and Mandarin dual language immersion programs, kindergarten, international baccalaureate schools, and our schools are focused on college and career readiness. Families can enroll online at rolandschools.org/enroll. Once again, that's rolandschools.org/enroll. And then thirdly and lastly, Roland Unified invites our community to Kinderfest, a school readiness event for families with children ages 3 to 5 years old to experience a sneak peek of what innovative learning looks like in RUSD for transitional kindergarten and kindergarten. Kindergarten and TK families can meet our kindergarten and TK teacher experts and have fun with hands-on activities that include arts and crafts, robotics, face painting, the Kinderfest classroom and cafeteria, the Roland Reading Garden, and children can take their first steps on an RUSD school bus. Kinderfest is on Saturday, March 16th, from 9 a.m. until 12 o'clock noon at the RUSD district office, and more information can be found at rolandschools.org/Kinderfest. And I'm happy to take questions that anyone may have.
Yes.
Sure, Roy, what's up?
Yeah, I know this will take a little time, but just to get it out into the field for the people here, that maybe not this time, but next time between you and Carrie, you can come up and explain to these fine people here what problems that you had in voting thumbs up on making transparency part of the core values of Roland Unified School District. And you can also see me presenting that to the school district on my YouTube channel, folks. Just Roy Humphreys. It's all there, including these meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. The next speaker is the Mount Sac Mount Antonio College representative, Dr. Haggerty. I think she's here. Okay, let's keep moving on. Okay, tonight we have 2 presentations. The first presentation is offered by the County Public Work or Colima Road Project, and it will be presented by Alex Nunes from Colima Road Project and Aaron Manick speaking on Near Bank and Los Harris Project.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Alejandro Nunez, Alex, if you will, and I'm with Public Works. I'm the project manager for Colima Road from City of Whittier to Fullerton Road, and I'm here to give you the status of the project. Apologies for the small technical difficulties. So, who we are? Public Works is composed, is part of 37 departments within LA County and directed by the Board of Supervisors, and we provide services to the public. And what is it that we do? We essentially design, build, and maintain transportation and flood control infrastructure. And we provide municipal services to the county's unincorporated area. Obviously, Roland Heights is part of it. And again, why are we here? The reason again is to give you a status of the project. I actually presented in this very hall 2 years ago. So I'll give you a brief project overview. Essentially, it's pavement preservation. We're widening a segment. We're extending existing bike lanes. And we're going to restripe to allow an additional lane between Halliburton Road and Lardale Road. And we're also going to install new landscaping and monument signs within existing medians. So what are some of the project benefits? The additional lane and upgraded landscaping will obviously will help beautify your and make the traffic flows quicker. It will enhance safety, and the mobility will be much better once this project is completed. It will again reduce traffic congestion, and there will be also traffic signal improvements to increase the flow of traffic. So the roadway widening again is between Halliburton Road to Lardale Road. The striping of the additional lane in each direction will be from Halliburton Road to Fullerton Road. I don't know if you're familiar with that intersection, but east of Fullerton, it's already 3 lanes. And heading east, it's 3 lanes, and heading west off of Fullerton is 2 lanes. So we're gonna have a much smoother transition. And this is a conceptual rendering of the landscaping that it's only gonna be on a section. It's not gonna be throughout the whole project. Now, this is the hard part. This is where obviously it's gonna impact your life. The construction is estimated to start late this year, sometime in November, and it's expected to take 2 years. Colima being a major thoroughfare, there's gonna be some pains, obviously, growing pains. There will always be access to properties unless it's unreasonable to do so. The construction, there will be a construction brochure with information for you guys to contact anybody if there are any issues, and those will be distributed right before construction. And we're also going to build a website with so you can visit and be updated as at your will. And there's our contact information again. Alejandro Nunez, project manager. I would suggest that if you have any questions, to contact me directly, but if I'm not reachable, you can always contact Ramika Kish. Mr. Samir Malki, he's gonna be the head inspector, so during construction, he's gonna be the one that will probably know more about the ongoings and details of the project. On that note, do you have any questions?
Your website, is it going to have up-to-date information what the ACE project did? It would have like time spans of what's being done here and there?
That will be the intent, yes.
Alex, can you repeat her question so that everyone can hear what she asked before you respond?
Okay. So her question is whether the website is going to include specific information with the.
If it's going to be like the ACE project was, you could go and see what they're doing when.
I'm not familiar with the ACE project, but we will have a scheduling and where we're working, which segment. This project, our traffic engineers have actually worked really hard in making it as painless as possible. They're going to do it in several phases to minimize the impact to the residents.
I have a question for you. And I see your project ended on the Lockman, right, from the Whittier on Colima down to Lockman. And
It goes all the way to Florida.
to Fullerton, and what the map is showing is stop on the Lockman.
No, it actually shows. That's actually Florida.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Okay. My question is, when you're at Fullerton Road and Colima, if you're going north on Fullerton Road and you get to Colima and you turn left, I believe now there's 3 lanes. Are you saying there's gonna be 4 lanes starting right there?
No, the lane that you're talking about, that you're thinking of, or you're seeing it as a third lane, it merges into another lane, so 2 lanes become 1. So what's going to happen is that merging lane is going to be a dedicated lane, travel lane.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Say it again.
The way it is right now, the third lane that you're talking about is a merging lane. It goes into the second lane, and that's where it's only 2 lanes right now. But it's gonna be 3. That merging lane will be your third lane. The question is whether our project is gonna be start after, I was not aware that Fullerton Road was being constructed right now. 6 years it's been in construction. Well, again, our project right now, we're foreseeing that we're gonna start construction in November. I don't think we're involved with them with that project, but we will coordinate with them and make it as painless as possible. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. On that note, we also have some informational flyers. If you want to pick one up, they'll be on the table. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to present on a project that's a couple of years away, but we wanted to bring it to everybody's attention now so we can get some community input as we start the design. Over on Nearbank Drive, I'll show you a map, a little bit of the area. We have a new roadway project coming up. This project is funded by Senate Bill 1 of 2017. I'm sure you guys all remember voting on the gas bill back then. So this is the funds coming from that gas tax. There'll be no other taxes on your property or anything else like that that's coming forward. We're going to resurface residential roadways within Nolan Heights, which will improve the quality of life for residents and lessen wear and tear on the vehicles. Here's the map. I'll leave it up for a little bit so everybody can see. It's coming off of Fullerton Road and Gasolina Street, I think that's how you say it. It's about 8.5 miles of streets. On this project, we're using a high route pavement restoration instead of doing completely rebuilding the streets. This will save on money, tax money. This will save on time, so there'll be less intrusion into the way people get in and out of their houses. As well as the pavement, we're also going to include concrete improvements for sidewalks, drive approaches, and various curb ramps throughout the area. Here's a before and after. As you can see, the streets are pretty bad in that area. If you live in that area, the new streets will be paved. They'll be nice and smooth. 27, which is right around the corner, and the end of construction will be winter 27. So we're looking at probably 8 to 10 months of construction. On April 27th at Gloria Here Park, we're going to have an in-person community meeting. We encourage everybody to come out, ask questions. We want to get feedback from the immediate residents around that area, see if there's any improvements that they would like happening to the project that we can include with ours. Here's my contact information. If you need any questions that you have on this project, please contact me. I'll be able to get back to you within a day. I'll leave the map up there. Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
Does that include unincorporated part of Nolan Heights is considered wildlife, whatever that is?
It's all unincorporated, Nolan Heights.
Is it north of Colima or south or where?
It's off of Fullerton Road,
Yeah.
south of Colima.
It's north of the cemetery.
Yes, north of the cemetery. Yes.
What's the furthest street east?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Furthest street east. What's the furthest street east?
Would you come to the mic and speak so everybody can hear you?
Any other questions? Yes.
There is a public works road project from, right about Fullerton to Sierra Leone.
Okay.
And they think it's gonna be in 2027.
Okay.
It's not both gonna be at the same time, is it? That would be wild.
I could not talk to that now, but I could find out for you if you'd like to take
But
the
you know
contact
about the
information.
other-
You were talking about which?
There's another project, going east of Fullerton to about Sierra Leone for all of that in there.
Okay.
And that's supposedly the same timeline you're saying, but that over on that side. So I'm wondering if it happened to coincide like the same time, Aaron,
That project is actually running a little bit behind.
oh, okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa from LA County Public Works. So Erin is actually coordinating this project, but I'm here with some other people, and we're responsible for coordinating multiple projects that are coming up for this community. This is just one of many that's coming. Part of the reason we're here tonight to kind of, get this one on everyone's radar is we do have a community meeting for this one coming up. to get some initial input from the residents who live in this area about what they see is going to be the most important things for us to address as part of this project. We want to make sure that we hear from the communities before we start and finalize our project scopes. This project is actually located just west of Fullerton Road, south of the cemetery, just right up here. It does include neighborhood streets, and it's all low volume streets. The other projects that we have coming, there's a community that's just on the other side of Fullerton Road from here. That one is still in very early planning. And we also have another project just north of this one. That is, that one, we just picked that one up to start our planning process on that one just a few months ago. So, you know, there's a lot of work planned for the future. You'll be seeing a lot more public works as we reach out to, again, get your thoughts and your input on the projects that are coming. One of the things that we will do, and we always do when we plan these projects, is to make sure that we're not stepping on anybody else's toes. So we'll be in contact with other agencies, other communities in the area that may have cities that may have projects that are going, and we will coordinate around and with those other agencies and communities to make sure that we're not having too much construction at one time. I can imagine that would kind of drive everyone crazy if we shut down every route to get to home when you're tired after a long day of work. So it does take a lot of work to coordinate that stuff, but you know, we also will come out and ask you guys, like, we want to know when your Lunar Day parade is going, what streets are impacted by that. Those are all things that are unique to your community, and we take that into consideration when we plan and schedule our projects. So it's a long road to get to this one. And again, Aaron's looking at around 2027 for construction. So we have a lot of wiggle room to kind of suss and plan around with our schedule. So if no one has any immediate questions about this one, anybody else? Okay, thanks. If you actually live in this neighborhood, please, mark it on your calendar. We'll be there with a community meeting to talk, more intimately with you about those particular streets and to hear what you guys have to say. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to next. I'd like to invite the next topic is what's next for Royal Vista. Let me invite Los Angeles County Regional Planning Office. Joshua Huntington and Marie Evelyn.
Thank you, Carrie. I'm Josh Huntington with LA County Department of Regional Planning. I'm the section head for the subdivision section, and Marie Pavlovich is on my team. And yeah, we've been reviewing the Royal Vista project for a couple of years now, and we're here to present on next steps and what the process is from here. Give us just a minute to get the presentation up. And while we're doing that, I'll just say thank you so much for inviting us. It's great to be here. We came when it was a scoping meeting over a year ago now, and I was also here last Saturday answering questions at the New Year Fair. That was great. Here's Marie.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Marie Pavlovich with LA County Planning Subdivision Section. I just want to let you know that we have a couple of flyers by the door. It's a next steps flyer in case the text is hard to read, and a fact sheet. LA County Planning has been asked to attend the meeting tonight to go over the remaining processing steps for the project. I will not be discussing the project's environmental impacts tonight. Comments received on the draft EIR will be responded to in the final EIR, which is being prepared at this time. Most of you are familiar with the project, but for those of you who are not, the Royal Vista Residential Project proposes to redevelop a portion of the Royal Vista Golf Course into housing. The project proposes a total of 360 residential units for sale, which consists of 200 single-family lots, 58 duplex units, 30 triplex units, 72 townhouse units, and 13 open space lots. Planning Area 3 contains the townhouses, and that's colored peach on the screen. Planning Area 2 is connected to Planning Area 3 and consists of 32 single-family lots. Planning Areas 1 and 5 are multicolored, yellow, blue, and purple. These areas contain both the single-family and multifamily lots for the duplex and triplex units. Planning Area 1 is north of Colima Road. It contains a total of 168 units. And Planning Area 5 is south of Colima Road, and it contains 88 units. The project will set aside 82 of the 360 dwelling units for affordable housing at the moderate and middle income levels. Planning areas 4 and 6 are open space lots with a publicly accessible trail that crosses all planning areas. The subdivision application was filed in July 2021, and since that time, the RPC initiated the plan amendment for the project. A notice of EIR preparation and scoping meeting was issued. At that time, we took public comments on what the EIR should study. 2 scoping meetings were held, as Josh mentioned, 1 virtual and 1 in person. The subdivision committee reviewed and cleared the vesting tentative map for consistency with the county code. A notice of completion and availability was issued for the public release of the draft EIR for review and comment. Comments on the draft EIR were accepted through January 5th, 2024, and we are now preparing the final EIR, which will contain responses to comments received during the comment period. Once the final EIR is completed, the next steps are to make it available to the public for review, hold the Regional Planning Commission hearing for the project, followed by a hearing before the Board of Supervisors to render the final decision. When the final EIR is ready for public release, we will issue a public hearing notice for the RPC hearing. The hearing notice will include a link to the final EIR. For the RPC hearing, the hearing notice is issued 30 days prior to the hearing date. The hearing notice is mailed to all property owners within 1,000 feet of the project site. It's posted on the project site itself. It's published in the newspaper and posted on the department's website, and it's emailed to all parties and individuals listed on the courtesy notification list. If you would like to be added to the courtesy notification list, then please shoot me an email with your request, and I'll put up my email at the end of the presentation. Once the hearing notice is issued, we'll accept verbal and written comments on the project. This is when you would submit your comment letters in support or opposition to the project. These comment letters will be included in the hearing package that is presented to the Regional Planning Commission. The hearing package also includes the staff report, draft findings and conditions, EIR analysis and response to comments, tentative and exhibit maps, and other project materials. The hearing package will be posted online for all to see 2 weeks prior to the hearing. The public hearing will be held in downtown Los Angeles. But there will be an option to attend virtually. Either way, the public will be able to provide live verbal testimony. At the hearing, the commission will hear a presentation from staff and the subdivider and will recommend approval or denial of the project to the Board of Supervisors and find the final EIR to be adequate or inadequate. The commission's decision can be appealed to the Board of Supervisors within 10 days of the hearing. And then following the RPC hearing, the board's executive office will schedule the project to be heard before the Board of Supervisors. Another hearing notice will be issued 30 days prior to the meeting date. Board hearings are held online only. The public will be invited to submit comment letters and provide a live testimony. And then the last step is the board will make the final decision to approve or deny the project. This concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
What happened to our last comment?
Hold on. You need to submit, hold on, please. Did you fill out a form? Okay, you need to fill out a form.
First person that filled out a form is Wanda Ewing. I'm just reading the handout that you gave, and you talked about why wasn't a public examiner hearing held. We sent an email regarding the hearing examiner meeting on December 11th, citing the code and the reasons why we felt we qualified, and we received no response. That's code 22.222.19 will be changed. And we also felt that the limit of public meetings does not apply to a discretionary project.
Thank you. Good to talk to you, Yolanda. And I guess first of all, we did respond, so if you didn't get my response, I'm sorry about that. I'm happy to resend it. But even in that code section, the hearing examiner hearings are at the discretion of our director. So the director can determine if she wants to have a hearing examiner hearing or not have a hearing examiner hearing. And because of state law that does limit the number of meetings for discretionary projects, she has stopped all hearing examiner hearings. It's not just for this case, it's for all.
Okay, well that was the email she did not respond to us.
I responded. Did you see my response? And if you didn't, like I said, I'm happy to resend it.
We got a response from Ms. Pavlovic, but not from Amy Bodek. So it's up to Amy Bodek whether to have.
Per county code, yes.
So her decision is
To
not
not
to
have
have.
them anymore. That's right. And again, it's not just this case, it's all cases countywide.
Beverly? There, Beverly?
While Beverly is coming up, I'll just remind everyone, staff doesn't make a decision on these projects. Like Maurice said, ultimately the Board of Supervisors will decide if the project is approved or denied. Our job is to review the project that's submitted against county code and against state law. Go ahead, Beverly.
I'd like to know why the whole golf course is closing if only part of it is going to be developed.
And again, we evaluate the project that comes before us. My understanding is that there's multiple owners. So the owner of this portion of the golf course presented this project for us to review.
Okay, but the whole golf course is closing at the end of the month.
Do you have a question, or is that just a statement?
Well, it's kind of a question, you know, why is it closing down if the project hasn't even been approved yet?
And I guess that's a question for the owner, so I'm not.
Okay, what about Sunjoint? Have you heard anything about Sunjoint?
They haven't submitted an application just for the group. Sunjoint is another owner of the other portion of the golf course. They haven't submitted an application to the department.
Okay, why in the DEIR was Sunjoint not included in this? Because it's a possibility in the future that there can be, 400 and some odd houses built on the south side of Colima?
And we don't have the ability to see the future, and we haven't received an application, even for pre-application counseling. They haven't submitted any maps to us.
It's still gonna affect this project, whether they submit it or not. And how is if the golf course is closing down completely, how is this gonna be maintained? Is it gonna wind up not being sprinklered, watered, mowed for the next 3-4 years? Is it gonna be dust all over? Like when they first sold the driving range area, they didn't water that for years. It's been dry as a bone unless it rains. So is there any provision for this empty vacant land to be maintained?
And it's comments like that that we want to have as part of our public comment period. And I think that is a great concern for you to raise. And that will be responded to in our response to comments. It was submitted as a letter during our comment period. But yeah, yes, I think that's a good question, and I think that's something that should be addressed during public comment.
I can have the following 3 people be waiting in line. Jaime, Shelley Gentry, and Robert Booth. I don't know where Jaime is, so you can go ahead and go, Shelley.
Hi, first of all, one of the things that Jeremy said, there has been discussion with the county over the Sunjoint, because we have emails, we've seen emails. So although they may not have, I know you say you can't predict the future, but they have discussed it with you. And you guys are aware, because we've seen emails. So it's not as if there's some kind of guess about what the future is gonna hold there. Royal Vista has already stopped maintaining the golf course. It's a mess on my side of the fence. I paid my own gardener, clean up the space in the past, and Royal Vista hasn't touched it since. Who do I report their negligence to? I mean, as a homeowner, I'm required to keep my property up. There's responsibility, and if I don't do it, I could be fined. So are they gonna be fined for not taking care of their property?
Okay, so I think your first question was, I'm sorry, remind me of your first question? I'll take the second question first. Second question was zoning enforcement. If you think there's a zoning enforcement violation, a zoning code violation, yes, please contact zoning enforcement. Their contact information is available on our website. And if there's a violation, it will be enforced upon just as it would be on any other property.
Okay, I didn't get it finished, but I understand why you.
I'm sorry, I thought.
No, that's okay. I guess I kind of paused when I should have. My question is, why would the county award a project to a landowner who isn't even doing their part for the community? I've called Royal Vista numerous times, no response, no answer, and they can afford to build houses. They can afford to maintain the property. So I don't understand why the county would consider a project for a company that's not even maintaining the property. That just sets a very bad standard. I had a couple other comments. I know you can't say the things about the draft environmental report, but in the appendix of the report, they totally voided talking about drive-through traffic on Calburn Drive, which is in Diamond Bar. I found it in the appendix. It was totally not even in the report. And I'm wondering, does the county still think that it's safe for a stop sign on Walnut Leaf for people trying to turn left They won't. What they're gonna do is they're gonna drive down my street in Diamond Bar. So now I've got a problem in the front of my house, with a lot of traffic, and of course my backyard backs directly to the golf course, and now I'm gonna have a park there. They say they're not gonna provide any kind of fencing. What is the county gonna do back to me? I elect the people in the county to protect my interests and preserve my safety, and I see this as something that's really jeopardizing that. And so I wanna know what the county is gonna do for me.
Thank you for your comments. I know public works representatives and representatives from the board office are here, so they've heard those comments. I did remember your first question was about Sunjoy. I know everyone here can see my emails if you want to. My emails are public record. I know you do public record request forms, and we want to provide you with those records. They haven't submitted anything. I don't know what their proposal is. I didn't say that they haven't sent me any emails.
Yeah, if I can quickly. They did send in what the report, what their project was, because we have a map as well. So it's not, I suppose they could.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen that map. They
I
didn't
don't
send
know
it to
if
me.
they did send it to some other people. I do have the emails at home, which I should have brought with me. But the thing is that it's not far to think that they're going to do this. So it's not like to say you can't look at the future. Well, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen.
Thank you.
Okay, Robert, and then we'll have Linda, and then we'll have Ben, or Ren.
Ren.
I'm Robert. I have two questions. The first one is very straightforward. Caltrain is requesting meeting regarding 60 freeway, Lemon, westbound on-ramp. Is it planned to meet? Is county planning to meet with Caltrain regarding this issue? That's my first question. If not, why? If yes, when? The second question is, follow up with the previous speaker. When we are dealing with Rio Vista project, I totally understand Sandra is not submitting anything yet. However, when we are considering the impact of our neighborhood, the golf course is closing down. Right now, the map showing only part of it. The other part definitely will be building something new. No matter we're waiting or not, I understand there's probably nothing you can do right now, but however, if there are, like, what is reported, another 300, 400 houses, how can we not include that into the overall impact of our community? That's totally puzzling me. That doesn't make sense at all. Yes, they are later, but however, how dare anybody? So you can take that into consideration. The number of houses, quote unquote, is more than what they are proposing right now. And even with current one, for the first year, you're leveling the ground, the truckload will run into tens of thousands. So, yeah, but again, I will stop my comment. What I want to say is, I cannot see any reason not to include a possible future project that is even bigger into the environmental impact study. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. So I want to talk about accessory dwelling units in Roland Heights, and that's something that hasn't been studied yet. So my question to you is, how many of ADUs has been permitted since 2017?
In Roland Heights or where?
Yes, in Roland Heights, because
And I don't have that number memorized, but we can get you that information.
because we the board member get a weekly report of all the permits are pulled. And from what I see, there's about 5 to 10, maybe sometimes 3, maybe sometimes 7 or 8 permits a week on accessory dwelling units alone. So if you do the math, just say five units a week, that's 20 units a month, times it by 5 or 6 years now. We're talking about 1,400 units. So for someone who says that Rowland Heights is not building units, that's not a true statement. So please find out how many accessory dwelling units have been permitted. And I think that's something that needs to be taken into consideration, that Rowland Heights is bearing the brunt of the units. Also, no parking, okay? My neighbors, they say that because of ADUs, neighbors are purposely putting the trash can out there to save parking spaces. That's the reality. Planners, you're in the office, you're not out on the streets. This is what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
If Greta can start lining up, and David. Go ahead, Greta.
Regarding the draft EIR, which is severely flawed, do you have an exact timeline for when it will be recirculated? And if our comments are not addressed, what recourse do we have?
We don't have an exact timeline. We think that the public hearing for the project will be later this year, maybe May or June, but we don't know the date yet. And the EIR, the final EIR will be available 30 days before the public hearing.
And if our comments aren't addressed in that, what recourse do we have?
The best thing to do is to comment either at the public hearing or prior to the public hearing. And there will be at least 2 public hearings, so one before the Regional Planning Commission and one before the Board of Supervisors.
Is Greta gonna still speak? Okay. Then you go, David.
Hi, I just have one question. I've heard how many units are going to be built. As it is, when I come out of Walnut Beach to make that left-hand turn onto Colima, I have to wait forever to make that left-hand turn because there's no signal. I'm dreading when all these dwellings, all these homes will be built. How long will I have to wait to make that left-hand turn? And then also, I just want to mention that most of us have lived in that community for many years, and we have enjoyed that open space as a luxury, because this open space is so good for our well-being. I'm just dreading what environmental impact it's going to have, on all of us. Very concerned about it.
And what we can say is there will be open space still as part of the project. Approximately 28 acres of open space. And yeah, I think the comment regarding the intersection is a good one. That's something my colleagues at Public Works can respond to.
David.
Go, Dave.
We have Helen and Roy lining up.
Hello, at our last meeting, they said that you would be providing some information regarding what is going to be low, moderate housing at the project, that you would provide us with the price of that. Also, you said that you would be giving lower loans to people such as police officers and firemen. So I'd like to know, is this going to come forth? Because I know they tried that before in the city of Los Angeles, where they wanted the next door project, and it was a complete failure, and now we're going to go back and do it again. This is the information given to us by the Board of Supervisor representative at our last meeting. Can you address those if you can? If not, when will you be able to do that?
And I guess I'll let Marie talk about the affordability, but one thing to know about the affordability is the affordability rates, the actual amount of money changes every year. So it's a little hard for us to predict now because these houses won't be for sale for many years if the project is approved. And then also regarding the loan program, that's not something we'll be involved with at all. Probably the best people to contact on that are LACDA, Los Angeles County Development Authority. I don't disagree with anything that SD1 said. If the supervisorial district representative said that, that's probably true. It's not something we work with in the planning department. And here's Marie.
We also don't set the pricing. LACDA could help you with the home prices, but again, that's not calculated now. That would be calculated later. So of the 82 units that would be set aside for affordable housing, 41 would be set at moderate income level, which would be affordable to households at an average, at an area median income level of 120%. Middle income is 150% AMI. And so then that calculation would be performed by CDA.
Thank you.
Okay, Roy.
Me?
Then if we can have Fran and Susan and Lynn start lining up.
Go ahead, Roy.
Okay.
Okay, Roy, I'd just like to make some comments here, and you tell me if I'm lying, okay? And that is, number one, all these laws and regulations that have been put aside by your governor and your Sacramento officials, and they've told all the local people, and that includes the counties and the cities, that all your parking problems that you got, sorry about that, you can kiss them goodbye, and so forth, and as far as the constructions and the property densities and with the ADUs and all that stuff, forget about it. It came from Sacramento, and the county of Los Angeles has to comply as well as the cities. And number two on the situation here is the state of California is $60 billion budget deficit. The county of Los Angeles hasn't got two nickels to rub together, and I monitor the county board of supervisors almost weekly and looking at their budget situation. They are strapped for money to do anything. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So the odds of this project getting shot down, it's going to have, you can forget about it. It's going to be like a snowball chance in hell. And as to those properties that are delinquent as to maintenance and so forth, you see that guy right over there? That's James Yang. He's County Public Works. You get over there, you get him in a corner, and you have to take care of business because he's a good guy. And I said so. Did I tell a lie? Any lies in there?
I appreciate your comments. I agree that we are beholden to state law.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Fran Wright. I've talked with you, Josh, on the phone.
Good to see you.
We had a nice long conversation. I agree with a lot of the things that are happening now. I'm only going to talk about one. I disagree with the fact that you cannot take into consideration the traffic on the freeway. And you told me that that's not a consideration. However, if you're sitting there in an ambulance and you need to get to a hospital that's 20 minutes away and that traffic is stopped, that's a safety feature. Also, there should be studies. Are the hospitals big enough? Do they have enough beds? Can they accommodate all these people? And the quality of care is going to go down in those hospitals. No, the golf course, I live, two sides of my house is on the golf course. It's peaceful. You can see I'm getting old. I want to be the last part of my life in peace. I don't want all that traffic, all the congestion and everything comes with it. The golf course, every time I come home, I pass the driving range. And they have, it looks like a junkyard. They have the old carts there that are dilapidated. They need to be thrown away. That whole area there looks like a junkyard. And they are not keeping the golf course up like they used to. I used to be able to call them and say, hey, you know, you're not getting the grass along my fence and all that, and they would take care of it. They would take care of the mold. If I had any mold problem, they would set traps. I know one day they said they had trapped 50 moles. Go first, I'm sorry, go first. If that's all I want to talk about. I agree with all the other things.
And I think all of those are fair comments. I think I was trying to explain to you the difference between level of service analysis for traffic and vehicle miles traveled analysis for traffic. And if I implied that something like safety and ambulance drive times wasn't important, I'm sorry, because that's not true. Those are very important comments.
Susan?
Hello, Dr. Humphreys. I'm glad you're here. I'm disappointed that you said you would not address the draft environmental impact report because that's the stage we're in right now, and that's where most of our questions lie. I think also that the efforts putting forth to get public input are failing because we can't discuss what's important to us at this moment. We can't. We've eliminated an opportunity for us to feed back to the FEIR before it goes to regional planning. That opportunity is gone. Now, in order to participate in person, we have to go to LA. The point is to have good public outreach. We're here because we care, and we can't voice what's important to us. I have a list of things, but they're all right now related to the DIR, and I can't talk about them.
And if you wanted to state them, you could. I don't think we can respond. And the public comment period for commenting on the EIR after it's released will be the 30 days prior
To the Regional Planning Commission hearing.
either or both.
And
So
we-
please comment before the Regional Planning Commission hearing and before the Board of Supervisors hearing.
So, in all honesty, we participated in those, and the decisions are made before we have an opportunity to comment. The Regional Planning Commission sits and listens, and they go ahead with what was recommended by the DRP. The Board of Supervisors sits and listens, and they go with the recommendation that was.
And I'm sorry if it was like that, because they really are making an independent decision. I have made recommendations to the Regional Planning Commission that they have not gone. They have sent me back to write findings the other direction before, and they will likely do that again on another project. I don't know if it'll be this one, but that is something they do. So it's not always that they take, I'm sure they usually take staff's recommendation, but they don't always do so.
Okay, thank you, Josh. I'll ask, I'll just state one of my DEIR questions. In the DEIR, alternative 3 is the environmentally superior alternative. However, it lacked open space to encourage outside recreation and did not distribute below market units throughout the site. Have you and the developer worked to modify the developer's design choices so that the environmentally superior alternative is the viable option?
And I appreciate the comment, but yeah, that's the sort of thing we can talk about.
Should you recognize that question? That was a comment that was submitted, so that will be responded to in the final EIR.
Thank you.
Another question, because I've just been informed that the sheriff department, and I don't know any other department, will not increase in employees. You know if that's true? We're gonna have that many more people, so they will need more people.
I know the Sheriff's Department has a planning division, and they look at things like additional population growth and where projections are, and if a project is approved or if it isn't. And they do plan for that. I don't know the specifics for this site, if it is or is not approved.
Okay, then.
We have Adele, Nasser, and Mary start lining up.
Question I don't have who this applies to. I was wondering if the closing of the Royal Vista Golf Course is coordinated with the opening of the Diamond Bar Country Club Golf Course. be a conflict of interest in that you're going from a privately owned function to a publicly owned golf course owned by LA County? And yet, seems to be some coincidence there. I'm just wondering if the planning commission or the LA County is doing that as part of the plan to get the process approved.
And I don't, as far as I know, no. They might be doing it to benefit the golfing population, but I don't think it's coordinated beyond that. But that's a good question for the owners of the golf course.
I had a second question. The developer, Mr. Khan, I've been told, has been talking to the realtor about
Makes the microphone go up by your mouth better, maybe. There we go. Try to get close.
okay. Well, I was told that developer John Cobb had been talking to the realtor saying that the planning department is in favor of the project. Yeah, I was wondering why that was, if nothing's been approved yet.
And we haven't taken a position yet on the project. Prior to the public hearing, staff does have to recommend approval, recommend denial, or staff could take a position. But generally, staff either recommends approval or recommends denial.
All right, thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Good. I haven't heard many people. My name is Adele Prince, and we all have major issues with this. Golf course is closing at the end of this month. And with the closing of that land, we, the people who live in this area, are looking at acres and acres and acres of vacant land. This means that the vegetation is going to continue to grow. Okay? And most of us, I think, remember, well, the vegetation is going to grow. The summers are going to be hot. We all know this. The winters we've had have unbelievable rain coming on. This vegetation is going to grow and grow and grow without anybody, I think, I'm wondering, responsible for it. The other night I was talking to my brother. Most of us remember Lahaina, Hawaii, right? The entire community, an entire community burnt down to the ground. I was speaking to my brother the other night. He lives in Lahaina. There was devastation of loss of life. Nothing to say of the property. The entire town's gone. And I told him what's happening. He always asks what's going on at the golf course. And he said, Adele, that's exactly what happened in Lahaina. The vegetation was growing and growing and growing. Nobody was maintaining it. So our concerns are very valid. Not only am I concerned, all of us should be, about the possibility of an unbelievable fire in our area, uncontrolled. Look at the property. But also blight. What about our community overcome with blight? I guess our question is, what are we going to do? What are you going to do, either with LA County or John or whatever, to maintain this property as it's being closed at the end of the month? What is going to happen to this community? That's my question.
Thank you. And so the county does have requirements to maintain property. The property owners are still responsible to maintain their properties. The fire department reviews properties for brush clearance requirements. And then if the property is vacant, the agricultural commissioner also reviews the properties for brush clearance requirements. So if you think the brush clearance is not being done, or if the brush is getting out of hand, my first call, if I saw that, my first call would be the fire department.
So in other words, my understanding from what you're saying is that even though the golf course is leaving, that the property will be maintained.
The property owners still have the responsibility to maintain the property in a safe condition, and that includes for things like clearing the brush to minimize fire risk.
So if we see a problem, we are to contact the city, LA County?
LA County Fire Department,
Mm-hmm.
they monitor brush clearance, and that usually happens in the spring every year. So there's a time period when they have people clear their properties, and if it's not done, they do it for them, and they charge them to do it. So that's the process for how that brush clearance takes place. And I just bring up the agricultural commissioner, because if there's not structures on the property, and some of these lots don't have structures, so the ag commissioner would be responsible for clearance on those properties.
And are we also concerned about blight? Animals running all over the property? Who do we see? Who's responsible?
And if you think there might be a zoning violation, again, zoning enforcement would be there for you for that. But I know that the property owners are still responsible to maintain the property, even if the golf course is no longer actively having golf being played.
Okay, Master is next, and then we'll have Catherine line up, and Karen, and Lisa.
Mary, right?
Good evening. How you doing? My name is Nasser Hamida. I'm a longtime resident of Roland Heights. And I'm here today because I find it very frustrating that the two members of the city planning sitting in front of us, the developer sitting in the audience, and the 5 officials who are going to make the decision on the Royal Vista Golf Course, none of you live here. So none of you are going to feel the effect of what it's going to be like when you build 500 plus homes, and like the gentleman said earlier, another 1,000 to come after. None of you will feel the effect. I am concerned because we are going to be packed like sardines on top of each other without the police department increasing their staff. And not to mention, another lady just, presented earlier that sitting in traffic trying to go to a hospital is very difficult. Well, I have elder parents, and I do fear for their safety. And why is it that major cities like Walnut, Diamond Bar, and Roland Heights, rather than the city planning to build more homes, why aren't you guys concerned about building a hospital? Wouldn't that be something that we need? A hospital? So I don't think you guys care about your constituents, not the way you say you do. Because if you care, you would listen to us. And we're telling you, rather than build us 1,000 more homes that we can't afford for over $1 million, build us a hospital so you can save lives. Thank you.
Just real curious that we talk about the traffic impact, and I see that there's like 2 projects back to back on top of what we have to deal with on the environmental impact report for this particular project. Is that something that you guys take into consideration, like when we're widening the road? And is it still able to accommodate what you guys are gonna put more traffic, and then later on we're gonna have to widen the road even more? So it's just like a vicious cycle that we have to keep fixing and widening. It's like constantly there's like street being built, and when we're putting more, and then we're not considering how do we help with that impact? Is it being calculated? And then on the second thing is the hearing part. Normally the hearing is during the daytime when people are working, and we have a lot of people that have
having an even and bring it locally because it was done before. Is that something that you guys consider, or does it have to be downtown and online? Because some people might not have access to online, or they don't know how. And people have to work. With the evening hearing will be into your consideration.
Thank you. And I guess first of all, you asked about the traffic study. There was a traffic study that will be in the final EAR as well. There's engineers at Public Works that are experts in that, so I can't really comment on that besides saying you're welcome to reach out to them if you have questions about the traffic study, and their contact information will be there. And then regarding, you also asked about the cumulative impacts. It is required to analyze cumulative impacts. We can't do that until there's an application. So when there's an EIR for that second project, we will have to analyze the cumulative impacts of both projects. So it's not like we don't want to, we will. We just can't do it until they actually submit. And did you have another question? Oh, for evening meetings. And it's up to the Regional Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors if they want to have evening meetings or if they want to have offsite meetings.
How would we reach out to make sure that it's possible?
And when you you're welcome to contact the Regional Planning Commission. They have contact information on our website, and the board office. You could also reach out to them.
Kathy? Yeah. Is it Kathy? Kathy? Yeah. Kathy, Karen, and Lisa.
My question is about the property tax. If you increase 1,400 for the whole 260 acres of residents in the future, is our property tax going to go down 90%? Because the open space right now is 260 acres. And if you reduce to 28 acres, that means we have 90% of the open acres, pastures that we can enjoy. So that means our quality of life has reduced 90%, and is our property tax going to reduce 90%? That's number one. Number two, with the low affordable income of housing, are we going to put in homeless people there that is taking Section 8 or not? How do you qualify those residents who right now we are in an average middle class residents, and we pay a lot of money to move to Roland Heights compared to downtown. So what is your suggestion?
Thank you. And you asked about tax assessment. We have a property assessment department. I assume this won't impact your assessments. That's something you could ask. It is private property. I know to a lot of you, I know it feels like public property already, but it is private property. So that's why they can propose this project here, and we have to analyze it for what it is. And then you also asked about, sorry, say your second question.
Affordable housing.
And the LACDA, the Los Angeles County Development Authority, they qualify buyers and renters, and they make sure people are income qualified, but they don't you have to have income to pay for the rent or the house. You can't have zero income. That's not the level of income that these units would be affordable to.
So are they rent those properties? Rent control properties?
The townhomes, I think, are rental affordable.
No. Sorry.
All of the homes will be for sale. What affordable housing at the middle and moderate income level means is that the home prices will be reduced so that qualifying household at 120% AMI and 150% AMI can afford to purchase the home. So that would exclude essentially homeless folks who don't have an income. So it will be middle and moderate income or folks like, public servants, firefighters, school teachers, maybe nurses.
So there's another question. How many freeways you are going to build on top of the Freeway 60? To give us enough?
And that's a question for Caltrans.
Thank you for coming. This is, I've been here forever too. I've been here almost 60 years in this neighborhood. And this neighborhood has changed, and we've all changed. It's a very multilingual neighborhood, and now that there's really basically no representative neighborhood newspaper. So, we don't have a newspaper. We have very little way to find out what's going on, except what we see with our eyes. So this whole project started during COVID, and I don't think, I bet, 99% of the people didn't even know anything was happening. And then they had an online meeting, and people had to struggle door to door. The committee worked very hard trying to notify people. But, we have, a lot of people have gates, they have metal things, you can't even get up to their house to let them know what's going on. And they speak all different languages, so it's very hard. So I think this community hasn't really been properly notified. The night that we had somebody here from planning, and someone actually presented on the thing, I held up my little card that I got, and it was right around Christmas, so there was so much mail, I bet 3/4 of them got lost. I think there were only maybe nine people or 5 people in the whole place that even got their card. So it's just been really hard to have this this whole awareness of what's happening, the community be notified. And during the process, we changed supervisorial districts. And so that's been even worse. We did that. They did that one online hearing, and I think 249 of our communities surprisingly spoke, and of course spoke, objecting in various ways. And basically, we haven't been listened to. We haven't been spoken to. We haven't been listened to when we've spoken, and it's, I don't know, now if we're gonna have to go to LA or have an online thing, it's gonna be just a continuation of the worst. It's very discouraging as a citizen. That's it.
Thank you, and I'm glad to be here tonight, and I do assume that the Regional Planning Commission and the board hearings will be in person downtown LA, but there will be an online component, so you can take advantage of either. You can either come in person, or you can join online and provide your comment that way.
So it's going to be next week.
And also, just Marie reminded me, her email address and phone number is up on the screen. So if you have additional questions, we're happy to address those.
Colleen, you're going to be up next.
I just want to add that if you shoot me an email, I can also add you to the email notification list so you can get all of your notices.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Janelle Harris, and I live on the back end of the golf course. My property is the back part. My name is Lisa Valadares, and I live in the Walnut area near the on the golf course. So the backside where they say they're going to build a park is where we live. So I had really concerns about the park area, for our privacy, for just a lot of stuff that happens in parks. So that was my concern. But then coming here tonight, I find out that that is going to be up for building as well, properties, and that's pretty upsetting. Now I just feel sick to my stomach. But anyway, I'm not really sure if you understand this area. I don't mean to be rude, but I feel like you guys have not been able to answer a lot of the questions that we all have. And how come you don't have anybody here that can answer our questions? Like, I really want to know if this is a community meeting and you guys are representatives, where are the representatives to answer the concerns and questions that we have? Are we here wasting our time? Are we here wasting our energy? I pay taxes. I pay a lot of taxes. Where are my taxes going that you're not answering our questions? We are very concerned. There's no markets for these people to go to. There's no, our poor deputies, we have to wait for an hour for them to come for anything because they're so inundated with, calls
from an unincorporated area, and I feel like an unincorporated area really means like we're an uncared for area, because nobody's caring for us. Nobody cares that we're gonna have, traffic up the Yin. I mean, you can't even get over the road on Fairway Drive to get to the freeway in the morning without leaving 20 minutes ahead to get a mile up the hill. That's ridiculous. And while you're all sleeping in your bed where your traffic and your houses are wonderful, we're gonna be out here suffering. And I'm gonna tell you, where I live right now, we have 3 empty houses. 3 empty houses that are Airbnb, and I don't know who the hell is coming there at night, sleeping there at night, all the cars that are parking there. I have literally, excuse my language, a whorehouse down the street where I have people coming knocking on my door to see if I'm the whorehouse because they're not giving the right address. I'm fighting with everybody to get attention, and you want to bring all these other houses, all these other people, all these low-income houses that you say you're gonna have, that's baloney. My daughter and my son have fabulous dogs. My son and his wife are RNs, and they can't afford a home today. So you're going to tell me that who's going to come and buy these houses? I worked for Rowan Unified School District for 12 years, and half of these kids were living in houses by themselves. When I did home visits to visit them and figure out what's going on, how come they're not coming to school, they lived there by themselves because people were buying these properties and just leaving them in there. So who's taking care of them? I'm constantly calling to take care of the yards. I mean, who's going to follow through when we can't even get answers here at a meeting from you? I'm sorry, but you're really not caring. And I'm really disappointed. And I just feel sick to my stomach. And I hope this community will get the word out. Because now what? We have to go to LA? Because you guys don't have time to come here and take care of our community? It's wrong. It's unfair. And I really hope you listen to us. Take it in your heart, please.
Thank you. Thank you for your
Bless your hearts for being here, but I wish you would put your feet into my shoes and everybody here. I've lived here for 24 years. When we moved in, we had open space in front of our home, which was great. I could see the moon come up. And then we got the golf course. Well, they have built 3-story homes in front of us at a diamond bar. We have to deal with people who don't know how to drive, who are coming down the road. I can't tell you how many head-on collisions my entire family has had because people can't drive. I'm tired of calling too that those people that live in the South Point unit, they're parking their motorhomes on our street because there's no space. And that's what's gonna happen here, there's gonna be no space. And I don't wanna watch somebody showering in my backyard now. But on another note, and by the way, on Walnut Leaf, we've complained about that several times. 2 people have been killed there in car accidents and they're waiting for a 3rd. Who can we have stand out there that's gonna be the 3rd one? I hope it's nobody, but it's tough. And I don't know what it's gonna take. We can keep crying, but we don't need more housing. But what I wanna bring up is that we voted for and paid in Los Angeles County Measure A funds, yet we have not, seen none of the funds in the portion of the study area of 92 of Los Angeles County Parks Needs Assessment. Despite the high environmental burdens, low proximity to regional recreational sites, and designation as high park needs, since our area has been neglected in the Measure A funds, a new alternative to the project must be offered, whereby the site is preserved as open space. In an application for Measure A funds, a site acquisitions submitted to the county supported for elected official Hilda Solis. It would be nice to have a park out there. We can keep our space and keep our sanity. Frankly, I'm tired of the state of California, born and raised here. I don't want to be here anymore. And as soon as I retire, I'm probably going to head out. But I'm going to fight for whoever's going to be living in my home one day. And it might be my children, I don't know. But I just hope you continue to listen and take to heart what we're going through. And I wish there were more people here, but no joke, the notifications have been few and far between, and we feel like we're left out. And I hope you take it into consideration, and I hope you can sleep at night. But thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I'm actually 15, so I don't have as much knowledge as you guys, but Since you guys said that you guys are gonna have low income like apartments and townvillas, I wanted to know what's gonna happen if it becomes the same thing or the same situation as the apartments in the Batson Street, because those situations are really bad, and there's car break-ins, there's drug stuff going on around there. I got friends in there who are having to go through all that. So what's gonna happen if we have the same situation in that area?
And there's no apartments proposed. There's townhomes proposed.
Townhomes, that's what I meant. That was my question.
My response was that there is not apartments proposed, and the sheriff's department is responsible for crime. I don't know what else to say to a concern about it.
Wow.
I've been living in Roland Heights for a long time. I was living here even before the Pointy Hills Mall was built. We talk about blight in the area. What happened when they started building Pointy Hills Mall? The whole area was covered with mice and rats. And we even made the newspaper. It was in the newspaper. After that, the whole area was covered with rattlesnakes. You would drive down to Colima or Fullerton, run over rattlesnakes, and then, of course, rattlesnakes still move. So I'm just going to let you know that what is we're looking for once this project starts. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't remember numbers, so I don't know how many homes are going to be built. But I'm wondering, how many years do we have to go through the sights and sounds of all the construction sites, being in that noise, for everybody, for all the homes to be completed?
And the proposal is for 360 homes.
Yeah. So that will take how many
60.
years? So we have to live in the midst of
Yeah.
all the construction that's going on all around us. So imagine our plight.
Right, and the hard part is we review the project and the project that's proposed and before us. We don't know if it is approved. So first, we don't know if it's going to be approved. We don't know if it is approved when it would be built. It might not be built for decades and decades, or it might be built in just a few years. We can't know that yet. And I'm sorry about that. I know that can be frustrating.
Hey, if you have no more questions, yeah, you want any more questions?
In the environmental impact report, does that take into account side streets? There's a Brea Canyon cutoff, which I know people from there are gonna go down Colima West and go to 57 that way, and it's a 2-lane road in some places.
No, I think that's a fair comment.
But is that part of the?
Was it part of the traffic study offhand? I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I know that's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's why, and I agree that I think that's a fair comment.
Because they're not gonna go all the way to Diamond Bar to get to 57. They're gonna come up a couple of blocks and then go south. And through the little white road.
On Walnut Drive, where the condominium is built, the draft PIR said, oh, there's going to be no constant traffic on town. But what they're saying is that people are going to go in the opposite direction. If they want to take Superfund, they want to head east, going towards Golden Springs, Colima and Golden Springs, the same street. When you get into Diamond Bar, they're saying that people are going to go, they're going down Walnut Drive to California, and then go up to the line and turn left. They said that nobody will do that. They said this is what they're going to do instead. They're going to turn the opposite direction that they want to go. They're going to go up into this area, into the new hotel. They're going to drive all the way around. They're going to come out of Walnut Street where there's not a signal, and they're going to try to turn left.
I agree agree that's a fair comment.
That's absurd.
And I believe that was a comment that was submitted for the draft CIR, and that will be responded to in the final.
Can I ask one more question, a short one?
Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, we need to close.
I don't need 2 minutes. Whose decision was it or is it to have the next meeting in Los Angeles? I don't understand that. Whose decision is it?
And I think you're referring to the public hearings.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think you're referring to the public hearings. So
Right.
the first public hearing is before the LA County Regional Planning Commission. They determine their schedule and their location to meet. So it's the Los Angeles County Regional Planning Commission. And the second hearing is the Board of Supervisors hearing, and the Board of Supervisors determines where and when they meet.
How can that be changed? How can we have that here? We are the ones who are going to be impacted. Why are we traveling to Los Angeles?
You can make that request to the Regional Planning Commission and to the Board of Supervisors.
Can you do that?
I can pass your request on.
Maria, can you do that? Can you get back to
We can't
us?
make the decision.
I understand. Can you get back to us with your answer? So if you don't have any success, maybe we will?
I mean,
We will get back to you, of course, and.
In time is what I mean, you know.
Right, I mean, at minimum, you will receive the public hearing notice, and that'll say where the location is.
Well,
Get back to RHCCC. Okay, give us the answer. I will pass the answer to Rick.
yeah, and we're happy to get back to you, yes.
okay, I'd
You
like
get an answer from
I'm sorry.
regional planning, and then we'll pass the message to all the members.
Okay, I'm requesting that you let us know in time for us to take further action to try to get it here. So, you know,
If you want to make the request, you should. We will too, and I'm happy to get back to you, but yes, please contact
do
me.
it in concurrent, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we have to close this room by 9. So unfortunately, we'll have a limit of time. But thank you very much for joining us tonight. And
Everybody who wants the meeting here, stand up. Say what they want.
okay, I received. Well, I'm gonna take a picture and then send it to the county.